was only 3 weeks ago that workmen found this young mammoth on Ziegler Reservoir above Snowmass Village, and it's been a wild ride since then. We've had crews from the museum digging up all sorts of bones around the reservoir, but today we're back in this tent where we're actually excavating the original discovery mammoth, the one that was found on October 14th. We've flown Dr. Dan Fisher in from the University of Michigan, who's a mammoth specialist, and he's been working in the tent for the last couple of days. He's made some amazing discoveries. Here's Dan.
Thank you, Kurt. What started as just a sort of nondescript mass of bone has now taken shape over the course of the last day or so. We can now begin to see anatomy and recognize what it is we're dealing with. The single largest element you see here is the animal's pelvis, and we have it from wingtip to wingtip, essentially. These are what are called the ilia, the bones that you feel right here as your hip bones. The front of the animal would be oriented up like this. So this is actually the left side, the right side. And right here is one hip joint and here another. This then is the middle of the pelvis. Through here is the pubic symphysis. This is a normal opening called the obturator foramen that's in each side of the pelvis. And right here you can see the acetabulum, as it's called, the socket joint into which the ball of the femur or thigh bone fits. Now, surprise of surprises, what's present laying on top of this pelvis is this sequence of bones from here to here, which turn out to be the 1st through 6th neck vertebrae, all in articulation, all as they would have been in the animal. Right here we have the atlas vertebra, the first vertebra behind the skull in the neck, and then here is a sequence of an additional 5 vertebrae, all but one. There's a 7th in the series of neck vertebrae, but these 6 are present here, articulated, just slightly slumped out of position. And you may ask, what is this neck doing sitting on top of the pelvis? We're asking ourselves that same question. We don't presume to have answers yet, but these are the kinds of things that we need to be able to figure out. This is a bone from the lower end of the fibula, the slender bone on the outside of your lower leg. There are ribs, some of them from the front of the rib cage, others from the back of the rib cage. So anatomically, it's quite an assortment of pieces, things that go together, but that are distant in the body from one another. Coming down this way, we have the back left corner of the skull. Here is the jaw joint, and this then is the animal's cheekbone coming around. This is the space where the jaw muscles reside. Right under the bags here, which I'll uncover now, is one of the treasures of this animal, and that is one of its tusks. And I speak of it as a treasure because it's a source of an amazing amount of information on the animal's life history, the environment in which it lived, certainly its own times. This is the growing end of the tusk. It's somewhat crushed because it's actually hollow inside where the soft tissue is that forms the tusk. But going this way, we have the solid portion of the tusk. The tip has been broken off in life and rounded by use. But what is amazing about this, what stuck out to me right when we first exposed it, is that it's a very slender tusk that does not increase in circumference much as we go throughout this length. That's a characteristic of females. We knew that this animal was a fairly young individual, but now we are quite certain that it's a young female.